I don't think you're going to want to let one of these bad boys go in a crowd, because you know what I mean, you might hit your target and then hit Granny right behind your target. You know what I mean? No one wants to smoke Granny because you're trying to be a hero. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, the Rated R channel, and I'm back at it again with another banger video. Let's get straight into it. So I was in a heated debate with my boy the other day, and we got into an argument, 9mm over 10mm. The argument started off basically as in, like, you guys know I have my Glock 40 10mm, and I was jokingly saying, you know, I can EDC this every single day, you know what I mean, every single day of the week, and I actually really like the 10mm round out of the Glock 40 since the barrel's super long and the gun's really heavy. Makes it a nice flat recoil. And so basically my buddy explained to me, his argument was that the 9mm is way better in multiples of ways, and that it just started a whole argument and a deboggle, and it just got me really inspired to make this video. And so I want to share my opinion with you guys and also hopefully prove that I'm right. I'm going to show him this video and all of your comments, so please like this video, comment it, subscribe, do all those things, but most importantly, please comment, let me know that I'm right, you know what I'm saying. 10mm is pretty cool. 10mm is pretty cool. So right off the bat, I want to let you guys know where I stand on this. I'm 100% aware of the practicality of 9mm and the non-practicality of 10mm. But what can I say? I'm kind of a 10mm fanboy. I feel like it's one of those do-all rounds, but it does have a lot of cons. I feel like we should dive straight into that one first. So, before we get in too deep, I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's show you guys the difference between these rounds. See, I don't know if you guys can tell from right here, but this is my 9mm, this is my 10mm. I mean, like, the 9mm is a hollow point, but it's still the same reference. Got the brightness turned down a little bit more for you guys just to do it a little bit more justice. But as you can see, this 10mm is a lot bigger, a lot taller. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more powder inside of the 10mm than the 9mm, and it is a bigger projectile moving a whole lot faster, you feel me? A whole lot faster. Some of you might not know, might know, you know, I'm not gonna give a whole backstory, but the 10mm was requested by the FBI a long time ago, you know what I mean? They wanted to change from 9mm to 10mm, something that packs a lot harder punch, you know what I mean? And that's what they ended up coming up with, is the 10mm, you feel me? So its purpose was to hit pretty hard, you know what I mean? Knock down some big targets, basically. There's a better summarization of that whole story. You guys can look into that on a lot of other channels. I can't think of some of the ones off the top of my head, but there's a lot of really good channels out there that do a really good job of explaining the history of the 10mm. I would definitely give that a good looking into if you're a big fan of the 10mm yourself. But the 9mm, on the other hand, I don't really know the full backstory of the 9mm or how it got started. I'm going to be honest with you. 9mm is just one of those things that's been around and everyone knows it. You know what I mean? 9mm. I don't really know the history, but you know, you can't go wrong with 9mm. It's one of those do all rounds, you know what I mean? But let's get straight into the comparison and our pros and cons. I think I want to start off with the 9mm, and we're going to go with the pros. Number one pro I can say with the 9mm is the fact of, I mean, it's 9mm. It's super cheap, easy to come by. You can find it anywhere for a reasonable price, you know what I mean? For the most part, the 9mm is going to be the cheapest round besides 22, you know what I mean? But it's real easy to come by. That's whenever we're going to roll over to the 10mm. We're going to give a few pros for that. The number one pro is, well, it's a big freaking round. This thing has a whole lot of stopping power, you know what I mean? And a lot of the people that you'll mainly see carrying the 10mm, practically at least, they're going to be out in, you know, Alaska or something, and it's mainly for bear protection. So these rounds, yeah, these rounds, in my opinion, this is going to be your do-all round. But that's kind of whenever we roll over into the cons of the 10mm. See, with power comes great responsibility. I think we all should know that quote by now. And it makes perfect sense for this baby right here, this fat old 10 mil. So if you were to ever find yourself in a scenario where you're EDCing a 10 millimeter pistol, and you just happen to have to use it, well, let's just say hopefully you're in one of the perfect conditions to where no one else is behind your target. And if you guys use a little bit of imagination, you can see where I'm going with this. The 10 mil has a huge factor of over penetrating. And so that is one thing. If you're in a crowded environment, I don't think you're going to want to let one of these bad boys go in a crowd, because, you know what I mean, you might hit your target and then hit Granny right behind your target. You know what I mean? No one wants to smoke Granny because you're trying to be a hero, you know. So that is the downside of 10 mil. It just won't look good. And another downside also is, I mean, you carrying this big boy around in a suburban city, I mean, most cases the courts are going to look at you like, dude, what were you doing? What were you trying to do? And who are your opposition? You know what I mean? There's a lot of like legal gray area I feel like you could get into, and if the prosecutors are really going after you, I mean, this just gives them the ammo that they need, you know. But let's lead over. One con I can say about the 9 mil, the only con that I could possibly come up with at just this very moment, is it's not as cool as the 10 millimeter, you feel me? Like, nothing beats the 10 mil, you know? But realistically, you guys, I couldn't come up with a whole lot of cons for the 9 mil. I mean, it really is just a do all around. Like, I don't know if I would want to use it for bear defense. I mean, in all honesty, I don't know if I want to use any pistol caliber for bear defense. But if I just had to use a pistol, it definitely wouldn't be this tiny whiny, you know, 9 mil. So I guess one major con is that it's not really good for big game. Let's say that big game self-defense. I feel like that's a good con. You know what I mean? And it's probably the only con I can come up with. 9 mil really is a do it all around. You know what I mean? As long as you're trying to protect yourself against two-legged predators, you know. Once you start getting into those four-legged predators, I don't know. I think 10 mil is definitely going to be the wave for you. And so this is going to be a pretty short video. I just wanted to kind of hop on here, throw my opinion out there, and prove I'm right to my buddy. Because look, all around, 10 mil is a cool round, and if you can handle the recoil, manage to keep some flat shots, I mean, it really is fun to shoot. Like, I love 10 mil. It's a little bit more funner than 9 mil, but I like my 9 mil guns too, you know what I mean? No hate on the 9 mil. As you guys can probably see, another little minor difference is going to be how thick the slide is. I don't think you guys understand. The internals have to be extremely beefy for a 10 mil to properly run and function. There has been a lot of problems in the past with 10 mil guns where they just literally just beat themselves up. They self-implode. So that is probably going to be another con for me on the 10 mil, just because like they're not really built to last. And I don't know too much about my Glock 40. You know, I haven't had it for that long, so I guess only time will tell. Hopefully it doesn't blow itself up, because I really like my Glock 40, you know what I mean? But like I said, everything's super beefy compared to the Glock 19, where it's a little bit slimmer. I'm not going to say super slim, but it's a little bit slimmer and a little bit lighter. Not as beefy, because the 9 mil, you know, you don't really need those extremely beefed up internals. But as far as 10 mil inside of like an SMG, or, you know, one of those PCC carbine type ordeals, the ARP, whatever, if you were to chamber 10 mil in a longer, you know, barrel than a typical pistol barrel, honestly, I feel like the 10 mil would outperform the 9 mil any day, you know what I mean? Compared to if you were to put the 9 mil in a PCC or any SMG, you know, the 10 mil is going to outshine it. It might still kick a lot harder, but it's going to have a lot more velocity, and it's going to have even more power behind that bullet, you know? So, in my opinion, 10 mil is the way to go. But at the same time, if we're being realistic, 9 mil is the do it all around, you know? So I'm gonna have to give this up to the 9mm, but at the same time, you guys, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm extremely biased and I love the 10mm. So I'd love to know what you guys think down below. Go ahead and comment if you guys liked this video, found it somewhat useful or entertaining. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. Run it up for your boy. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers. I know we can get there before the end of the year. You guys just got to get me there. But like I said, if you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys for watching. Peace.